This is Canna Creator Studios, I'm Canna, and today is day 5 of our mead fermentation. If you were around for the last couple episodes, you already know. If you weren't, let's do a recap. We made our must. 2.5 gallons of honey, sorry, not gallons. We used 2.5 pounds of honey. We used roughly a gallon of water. Ended up with the yeast. We put in the fact of the day 1 nutrients. We threw in day 2's nutrients. We're now on day 5. So we've got a couple of minutes of degassing this, and then we're going to turn around and get the day 5 nutrients in and get this back into a dark place to continue doing what it does best, which is turning it into some really good mead. But for the time being, let's get the airlock. Well, actually, let's get some fresh paper towels. Get them opened up. Get a paper towel down, because we're going to need it. Hey Brittany, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just fixing to pop the top off of our mead and get it degassed for the second time for the day 5 addition of the yeast nutrients. Come down, thank you. There you go. Alright, so we got our top popped. Now we're going to stir for, give or take, next to 3 minutes, somewhere in there. Just get it mixed back up. Turn around and get everything that's settled down at the bottom back to it. Give it some life again. Try not to have it overflow. Get some of that carbonation out, some of that CO2 out. So that way we have a nice starting point for the fact of our yeast nutrients that are going to go in. And get our little workout in while we're doing it. Believe it or not, y'all, this is actually quite a workout. Just for a gallon jug. It doesn't even have to be a gallon of mead. It could be a gallon of water. It could be a gallon of milk. Down the list. Great little workout for the biceps and triceps. So how goes the day, Brittany? We have almost up to the 4-minute mark. Almost time to stop spinning it and stirring it. And getting the agitation into it. Ooh. Okay, come on. Only a gallon. Finish it out, Canna. And 4 minutes. Okay. We degassed our mead for the recommended 2 minutes. Give me 1 moment. Boys, settle. Settle out. Okay. Now, we want to grab our nutrients out. If you remember, day 2, day 5, we split this packet in half last time. Ultimately, we came out at 3.3 grams worth of yeast nutrient on day 2. So today we're going to be adding another 3.3 grams of yeast nutrient. I'm really going to try to be a lot more careful today because I don't want the overflow. But we're going to see how it goes. Just the tiniest bit at a time. Because they are going to go after that like it is The best thing in the world. Alright, we're going to give it a moment. We're going to let the foam die down because we don't want to over-rush it this time. Last time we made a little bit of a mess with it. We're going to take some patience here. That looks like that's all gotten in. Let's add a little bit more. Please don't overflow. Please don't overflow. We've still got a good bit to go, so. Maybe too much. Maybe too much. We'll see. Hold on. We got a little bit left to go. Oh, those yeast are getting so happy. They are getting oh so happy. That is the most bubbling we've had in days. A little bit more. Remember, guys, you want to do this slowly or it's going to be a mess. I know it looks like it's all sitting up top right now. We're going to give it a small stir. But we're not going to turn around and shake this up too much once we get this last bit in. Brittany, not a kitty cat. It's the boys. They're both turning around and wrestling at the moment. But yeah, Blitz and Jasper are in the background. They're wrestling. Add in the last little bit. Maybe in one shot, maybe in two. We'll see. Probably in two. I could shake the table a little bit, give it a tiny bit of agitation there. Get it worked in. Nah, it was the dogs in the background. They just got the right sounds. Then again, it could have been one of the cats outside, but thankfully it's not the roosters. Let's get the last. Are we going to be able to get the last little bit in one shot? Maybe not. Wait. Maybe. We might be able to do this. Hold on. Okay, that's everything from the day 2 and day 5 packet. So, all of our nutrients are officially in. At this point, I think I'm gonna ever so carefully give that a little agitation. Get that to break down a little. Everything moist. Get everything nice and moist. Give it a stir. Alright, now we're going to very carefully stir this and get this shook. We don't want to over agitate, we just want to turn around and let it foam as little as we can. But all that foam means a lot more CO2 is going back into the process. These yeast are going to eat, they're going to feed, they're going to be happy. We're going to put our airlock back on at this point. Give it a moment, let the bubbling start up. There's first bubbles. And we're going to go get this back into a nice, cool 55 to 77 degree area. So that way it can continue the fermentation. But I'll be right back, everyone. Give it an extra stir. There we go. Oop, wait, we can't put it back yet. Yeah, almost made a mistake. We cannot put it back yet. We need to make our new label. Almost forgot. Let's see. 16, 17, 18. Today is the 19th, yes? Yeah, 19th. Okay. So, 9 dash 19, because that's today's date. Added nutrient. Nutrient. Start 15 D A what 15 day D E G A S for degas. Okay. So we're gonna take off our original 410 that we had on there from the last show. We're gonna take our new label with today's date, what we did, and our secondary label for what our next steps are. We're gonna put the label of what we did below the last dated line. And at this point, folks, we've got 15 days every other day of degassing this mead bottle. Okay? So we're going to have to degas this bottle every 2 days for the next 15 days. And then we'll have to leave it alone for the next 10 days so everything can settle out. But from what I can tell, from what I can see, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Give it the old sniff test. Does it smell a little bit yeasty? Yeah. But honestly, at this point, that would pretty much be expected because they've gotten plenty of nutrients. It's been a happy, healthy yeast colony this entire time. So for the time being, we're going to actually now get this back into its containment area, and we'll be right back. Now, in case you're curious, in that fermentation cabinet, we do have one of the little glass thermometers that actually have the glass bubbles in them that pop up and or sink down depending on what the temperature is. Right now, we're sitting somewhere between 72 and 76 degrees inside of that cabinet. Okay? If it was over 76, that bubble that's on top would fall down and it'd go between 76 and I think the next one up is like 80. So we're right within our fermentation temperature of where we want to be. We do not want to let this get over 77. If we go over 77, we're going to start messing with off gases and scents and tastes and flavors that we really don't want. Now, granted, they would work themselves out a little bit over time and might actually work themselves out a little bit better with a secondary fermentation. However, we're not trying to do more than one fermentation on this batch. For what it's worth, we turned around and did some preemptive work on the labeling for it for once it's bottled. This batch is officially named Odin's Grove. Okay, so this is our Odin's Grove mead, made with Fisher's honey. We don't know what the alcohol by volume is going to be. We've still got till the 24th, 25th until the hydrometer itself gets here. And then we've got until October 8th until the actual graduated cylinder to use with that hydrometer gets here. So we've got a little while before we can turn around and actually take our readings on this mead. However, we did some research and we did a little bit of number checking while we were at it, okay? if you guys are connected on Teddy's Discord and or on Brittany's Discord, you know that we dropped the notation, well, on Teddy's Discord, we dropped the notation of all the mathematics that were involved with this, okay? On Brittany's Discord, we dropped the nearly completed, as well as on Teddy's, the nearly completed version of the label for the bottles for this mead. But ultimately, we started more than likely approximately at a 1.080 upwards of a 1.085 to end up at 11 to 12%. Okay? That should be the basic gravity reading of what it should read out as. I'm going to go with the fact that because this kit is labeled out at 11 to 12%, that the makers of this kit have already done the math and done all of the calculations to get it to exactly that point. Okay? So we're going to assume that those numbers are correct, and we're going to go from there. But our next batch, it does have its name. Our next batch is going to be called Green Valkyrie. Now, for the Green Valkyrie batch, we're not using honey. What we will be using, however, is 100% grape juice. Okay? Once again, you don't want any preservatives in it. You just want the fact of basic things. I mean, for these 2 half gallons that we got for the next batch, all we've got ingredient-wise is grape juice from concentrate, probably Concord grapes, not really sure, haven't tasted it, don't want to taint it. We've got filtered water grape juice concentrate, we've got ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, and we got citric acid for the tartness, okay? Now, I watched a video earlier this week where they added in black tea to be able to make the tannins sit there to where it tastes a little bit more like your traditional wine. But by no means is what we're going to create next batch going to ever be able to be considered wine by a French person. Okay? French will never accept what I made the next batch as wine. But we've got our labels pretty much figured out. We've got the art form figured out. We've got pretty much everything for the fermentation dealt with, ultimately. Now all we got to do is just keep stirring it around for 2 minutes every day, every other day, for the next 15 days. Ultimately, we've got some more supplies coming in the mail. They haven't got here yet. Most of our equipment is supposed to show up on the 24th, 25th, somewhere in there, okay? So that'll definitely be a really good day for us, because that will be when we can turn around and actually push the fact of a lot of this over to be able to get to where we want it to be. But truth, I'm happy with where we're at. I really am. I mean, we've got literally 2 ingredients left. 2 ingredients left to be able to do the next batches. We've got to pick up our yeast nutrient, and we've got to pick up, well, we don't have to, but I really want to pick up a couple of, at least a pack or 2, or maybe 5 of carbonation drops. Because those will add in the carbonation back into the flat, where it'll be carbonated almost to the point that a beer would be. Okay? But they're specifically made for a specific amount to where it will not go through and overcarbonate and blow apart the bottles, which is always a risk when you're turning around and carbonating anything. But these have been specifically made to where they won't. But ultimately, yeah, we're doing good for the first brew of the season. Hello, viewer number 3. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to leave a comment down below. "20 minutes in, doing good, doing good." You know, it's sad. On days like today, where we've only got a couple of things, maybe like one thing to do. Truth? I could probably cut the show right now and call it good. But I know I really don't want to. I want to at least give it an hour. Figure it out from there. I don't know, maybe chat broke. Who knows? It could just be the fact that YouTube's not pushing out my videos anymore. That's always a possibility. But I guess for the time being, we're going to kick back, we're going to relax, and we're going to let the fermentation do what it does. I might just restart. I may just restart the stream. We'll see. Well, we could always call this part one. Ultimately. That might just be what we need to do. We might need to call this part one and actually restart the stream. Yeah, we're going to call this part one. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to take a momentary break. But we shall return in just a moment, folks.